Okay. Welcome to our Majjhima Nikāya discussion. Right, so we are ready with the Majjhima Nikāya discussion today, and I'm going to start with the second sutta. Okay, so far we have done, we have studied one sutta, Mūlapariyaya Sutta. That is the first sutta of Majjhima Nikāya. And we are going to start a very useful sutta. I must say, both these suttas that we learn are really very profound. And so maybe for a beginner, it would be a little bit tough, but I would still let you know that we should learn. We are not going to make it too much tough, but we want to at least introduce you that these wonderful suttas by the Buddha, so that hopefully we can learn more and we can share this noble Dhamma for the benefit of many. So, Sabbāsava Sutta, or Sabbāsava means all the taints. And so every Friday at 6 p.m. We can join here. Every Friday at 6 p.m. You are welcome to join our Majjhima Nikāya or Sutta discussion session, which is going to be a very useful Sutta study session for all of you. All those people who are interested in learning the Dhamma, I recommend you come join us, and we will learn together. We also need some volunteers to help us in many ways. We need some real discussions, and we need some content writing. For example, the summary of the sutta, and also some questions and answers. We can post these things in our website and blog site, www.dhammausa.com. We want to be more engaged in this case, so we can have more Q&A sessions, and we can have some more people who are willing to learn the Dhamma, and I welcome all of you. Every Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, and also Central Time Friday 7 p.m. and Indian Standard Time, I think Saturday 5:30 a.m. and Singapore time Saturday 8 a.m. and Indo-China time Saturday 7 p.m. We are going to meet, and today we are working on this particular sutta called Sabbāsava Sutta, which is the second sutta of Majjhima Nikāya. So here in this particular sutta, the Buddha talks about Dassana Pahatabbāsava and Sangvara Pahatabbāsava and Patisangvedana Pahatabbāsava and Adhivasana Pahatabbāsava and parivajjana pahatabbasava, and vinodana pahatabbasava, and bhavana pahatabbasava. Okay, so here we have 7 asavas to be dispelled. Okay, defilements given up by seeing, and defilements given up by restraining, and defilements given up by using, and defilements given up by enduring, and defilements given up by avoiding, and defilements given up by dispelling, and defilements given up by developing. So if we take asavas means defilements. They are more profound asavas, I must say. It's difficult to remove these asavas. It's not so easy to remove these asavas. They are like tough stains, very much deep rooted into our system. So these asavas have to be removed in different stages and different ways. You can see here how one by seeing dasana pahatabba also some say different other terms, but asava is something that asava also mean like is something like flowing. Asrava, sravati is to flow, and asava is something that is a very powerful defilement. For example, the arahanta is called kina asava. Kina asava means the asava. So the arahanta person, that means one who has completely eradicated all the cankers, all the defilements, all sorts of defilements. That is the person who is called Khinasava. So that is an Arahanta. And then also called Anasava, same thing, Anasava. So according to this Pali Concise Dictionary, Asava means that which flows, and also spirit, and discharge from a soul, and ideas which intoxicate mind. And asava kaya means destruction of intoxicants of the mind. They are really intoxicating things. These defilements are intoxicating. So asavana means also flowing down, and asavati is the verb that means to flow. So asava has a very unique term, and in Buddhism, when we talk about here, asava is those powerful defilements that all of us have, and because of which all of us can just get rid of the samsara so easily. Some asavas are that we can give up them by way of seeing. Seeing means right view or realizing. Maybe like learning the Dhamma like this can also help us in giving up. For example, now the anger is not a good thing, or hatred is not a good thing. And so we also know, we learn through the Dhamma when we study the Dhamma, and hopefully some of these asavas can be given up by you, because oh, this is not going to be good for us. So we have to get rid of them. And therefore it is called dasana pahatabba. And so this is actually given as one word, but actually this is there are 3 words here. Dasana means by seeing. Okay, and then pahatabba is given up, and to be given up, and should be given up, and asava is the defilement. So there are some or there are some asavas to a certain extent. We can get rid of them, give them up, we can forsake them, we can delete them, we can destroy them by seeing, by understanding. Okay. And later, there are some more asavas. We have to make some effort. Samvara. Samvara is the restraining. Samvara is the sealer. Samvara is the morality, the faculty. How do we take care of our 5 faculties? And then by way of doing it, we can also restrain, and then some asavas can be given up that way. Samvara pahatabba asava. So in um, Buddhist liberation path, we do have something called Sila, Samadhi, and Panya. So Sila is the very foundation of our spiritual path. Very foundation. Sila means this Samvara. So how do we do it? Like by way of taking care of our 5 faculties. For example, by taking care of our oral or mouth. We don't speak, we don't speak harsh words. We don't speak hurting words to others. We don't insult others. We have several different kinds of defilements by way of oral faculty, mouth, and speech. And then we also have bodily defilements, certain bodily defilements. We have to take care of them too. For example, the first seal, the 5 precepts, is what we call um, what we call Panatipata Veramani, that avoiding to restrain from killing. Okay, I observe the precept to restrain myself from taking lives or killing others or hurting others or engaging in any form of violence. So we have actually take some action. So bodily actions and also stealing things. We need to restrain. Sin alone may not help them. We have to really restrain by not doing it. Let's say, for example, you are now listening to a Dhamma talk, or you are now attending the discussion class here, and while doing so, suddenly you are bitten by a mosquito. And so, how do you do? How do you feel? Do you go? No, right? Maybe you also think, oh, I'm now listening to a Dhamma talk. I'm actually dealing with some good sermon, good Dhamma activity. I should not kill, or I should not hurt the mosquito. I should restrain myself from doing it. That is maybe defilements given by restraining. You see how we can be helpful, and maybe in some other occasion you might kill the mosquito right away. It come to you naturally, automatically. But if you keep doing it and it come a habit to you, so you can restrain yourself from doing it. Like there are some people who want to say tell lies, and but maybe when you take precepts, so you really want to work on that precept, like musavada veramani. I'm not going to tell lies. At least maybe session by session, or day by day, or week by week, I'm working on that my problem area. I'm going to restrain myself from not engaging in forced speech. So defilements given up by restraining. So if you work on that, that can become a part of our restraining. Defilements given up by restraining. So certain things, certain defilements are there that we can really rid of them by seeing. But certain defilements like this can be restrained, can be given up by restraining. Patisangvedana, patisevana, pahatabbasava. So patisevana means using. So certain defilements can be there for us that we have to maybe we have to get used to it. We have to practice. So by practicing also, let's say like when you meditate, you can also actually do that, or you can also practice maybe like dana. You practice dana, so you keep giving dana to Mahasangha or some other people or whosoever you are willing to do it. That can be very helpful to them if you do so. So by using also, when you engage by practicing or by using yourself in the practice of this dana, you can get some defilements like stinginess or miserliness. Okay, so this is again very useful to all. Practicing also, we can actually get rid of some of those asavas. That's what called defilements given up by using. And adhivasana apahatabbasava, and that is defilements given up by endeavor. Maybe some people or someone is not really appreciating you, or someone is trying to hurt you, or by using some harsh words, or not really having any compassionate thoughts for you, and so you are being really disturbed. And so in this case, maybe by way of enduring, even in the case of mosquito bite, in case of enduring, adhivasana, that also is really an important word. Adhivasana. Adhivaseti is the verb. And so compare this to like khanti or patience. That's also so it's another we can get rid of them by way of enduring. And then there are some asavas that have to be given up by way of avoiding. Yeah, parivajana pahatabba asava. So parivajana pahatabba asava is another we can really live. We have to get with it. Maybe you will be spoiled. You actually circumstance. There can be situations like that in your life. You have to actually get rid of certain circumstances. And then we also have parivajana pahatabba asava, defilements given up by vinodana pahatabba asava, defilements given up by dispelling. Dispelling and avoiding almost the same. And here again, now we can see parivajana and vinodana. Vinodana is like also vinodeti also is to give up, or to get rid of, or you make some effort to remove that one, dispel, and that way you can also get rid of certain certain defilement. It can be verbal, it can be physical, or it can be mental. So we have to make some effort for that. And then it's very important here, bhavana pahatabhasava, defilements given up by developing or by bhavana. So bhavana is again another way of practicing or burning our defilement. Now we can see not only by meditation can we give up all the defilements. Meditation can be really important, but that's not alone. There are more other ways for us to get rid of these samsaric miseries. So it's really important that we try to work on these 7 stages of um, getting rid of our own defilements. And maybe later on we can also discuss, according to the time, discuss on this matter more. I'm just actually trying to kind of interest and so with that, the sutta, that is actually kind of a summary to this. And so what happens here, at one time when the Buddha was staying near Savatthi in Jeta's grove, Anathapindika's monastery, Anathapindika's arame, then the Blessed One addressed the monks as bhikkhus. Okay, evang me sutang ekang samayang bhagava savathyang viharati jetavane Anathapindikas arame. Atrako Bhagava Bhikkhu Amante. See, they are the Blessed One, address the monks as Bhikkhu. And so the monks replied to the Buddha as Bhikkhavo. Just mention, like Bhikkhu are the disciples of the Buddha, and Bhikkhu is actually interpreted in different suttas and atakatas in different ways. It will be very interesting to know, like bhikkhu, bhikkhati iti bhikkhu, one is bhikkhati iti bhikkhu. Bhikkhati means the monks who are called bhikkhu because they just go for begging. They beg for food. And then also sansare bhayang ikkati iti bhikkhu. They are scared of this sansara. They look that sansara is a fearful thing, so they have to get rid of this sansara, and therefore they are also called bhikkhu. Chinna bhinna pata dharoti bhikkhu, and that means the monks wear those stone worn clothes, ragged clothes, and that's why they are called bhikkhu. So different interpretations are there for the word bhikkhu, but overall we would consider this as the disciples of the Buddha. Okay, so Bhadante te bhikkhu bhagavato paccasosung, and they called Bhante or Bhadante or Venerable Sir. They replied, and Bhagavata the Blessed One, said thus: Sabbāsavang Sabbāsava Samvara Pariyayang wo bhikkave desesami tang sunatha sadhukang manasi karotha bhasissamiti. Now the Buddha was addressing a group of monks. When the Buddha was addressing the monks, mostly he would directly go to the profound Dhamma, especially when he talks to the monks, he would directly talk about the nirvana or Reshimutti Magga. And he talks to a layperson, maybe a king or a beginner, somebody like that, then the Buddha would probably do something else. Maybe he would use some other terms, because some people also Buddha to explain to them something that to life. So here there are a group of monks, and now the Buddha see them, and their mission, their vision is completely different. They are totally dedicated themselves to get rid of this samsara. As even today, when somebody wants to become a monk, we would say actually to get rid of this samsara, sabba dukkha nissarana nibbana achikaranataya imang kasavang gahetva pabba jethamang bhante anukampang upadaya. That means, in order to get rid of this samsara, bhante, please take this as a monk. So in order to get rid of this samsara, sabba dukkha nisaran, to get rid of all these sansaric sufferings, that person wants to become a monk. So therefore, that idea, so that vision and mission are very unique here with this group. So therefore, the Buddha talked to them, Sabbāsava Samvara Pariyayango Bhikkhave Desisami. Monks, I am going to teach you, I am going to explain you the restraint of all defilements. Sabba asava, all defilements. And tang sunatha, listen to that. Sadhukang, well. Manase karotha, pay attention. Bhasisami, I will speak. And the Buddha explained. Evang bhante, yes bhante, or das bhante, or when you say ama bhante also is the same. You can of course say evam bhante too. Evam bhante tikote bhikkhu bhagavato pachaso. So those monks explained, those monks replied to the Buddha, responded to the Buddha, yes bhante, and we are very glad to hear that. Bhagava etadavocha, Bhagava etang avocha, the Blessed One said thus, Janato ahang bhikkhave passato asavanang khayang vadami. Okay, now the Buddha said, I say that the end of the defilements is for one who knows and sees. Okay, so this is very, very, very important for us to remember. Asavanang khayang. If you want to get rid of this asavas, and you need to first janato, we have to know that, and then also passato, we have to see that. So janato and passato means we have to see and we have to know, and that's why we are actually trying to know and trying to see. So when you listen to a Dhamma talk, what happens to us? Asutang sunati. You listen to things that you haven't heard before. And sutang pariyodapeti. You also straighten or you consolidate whatever you have heard before. And sutang kankang vitarati. That means you dispel your doubts. Kankang vitarati. Chittamasa pasidati. Then ditthing ujung karoti. So these two things are also important. You also straighten your view, or you expand your perspective. You make your vision very clear. Dasana. Ditthing ujung karoti. Straighten your your view, and chittamasa pasidati, and therefore you also become, your mind becomes all these 5 benefits are there when you listen to a Dhamma talk. And it's important that you learn, that you listen to more and more Dhamma talks, and that you read more and more suttas, and that you attend more and more Dhamma study sessions like this, so that you can learn more and more every passing week or day or month or whatever. So it's really important. So the Buddha said, I say that the ending of defilements is for one who knows and sees, not for one who does not know or see. So I am actually preaching the Dhamma for those people who want to know, or who know, and who want to see, and who see that. And then only they have the opportunity to get rid of these defilements. Kincha bhikkhave janato, kincha passato, asavanam khayang vadami. Uh, for one who knows and sees. So, kincha bhikkhave janato, kincha passato. For one who knows, who are these people, or what can they see, or what can they know? Yonisocha manasikarang, ayonisocha manasikarang. So now we have 2 things, and that is yonisocha manasikaram. Please remember this word, very, very important word. This also can be explained in many different ways by different translators. Yoniso manasikara. So yoniso manasikara is the proper attention, and ayoniso manasikara is the improper attention. So yoniso manasikara is explained again as proper consideration also. It's like when you have some, if you say yoniso manasikara, that is the proper attention, right? So when you have some wholesome like merits or wholesome deeds within you, so you take care of it, or you develop it. And when you don't have some wholesome things, you try to get them for your own life. And then if you develop, and so that way your proper attention, yoniso manasikara, become very important part of your life. Just to check my internet, let me see. Okay. Okay. So yoniso manasikara and ayoniso manasikara should be understood that way. If you have good things or wholesome things in you, you have to take care of them. If you don't have it, you have to inculcate them. And the same way the other ones, if you don't have good things, if you have unwholesome things, you have to get rid of them. And if you have if you don't have unwholesome practices, then you should not allow them to come to your system. So it's both good and bad, and that is the proper attention. And you can see improper attention would be to allow those unwholesome things come to your mind, and and also cultivate those unwholesome things in you. And so this is another completely different way. So proper attention and improper attention, or proper consideration and improper consideration, some of the things that you can be concerned here, you can be mindful here. Please remember yoniso manasikara. ayoniso bhikkhave manasikaro anuppanna cheva asava uppajjanti. Now you see, the Buddha says, proper attention, when you pay improper attention, defilements arise. Ayoniso bhikkhave manasikaro to anuppanna cheva asava uppajjanti. When you don't have that, those defilements will arise in you. So this is really important. If you lose attention, the defilements can come to you. And uppanna che asava pavadhanti. Vadhanti means to develop, and pavadhanti means to more develop or grow more. And so you already have some rise and defilements, they will grow more. So what happens if you do not have improper attention, and if you have this improper attention, these things will happen to you. And the Buddha said, Yoniso chako bhikkhave manasikaroto anupanna cheva asavana uppajjanti. When you pay proper attention, defilements don't arise. So that's why we have to be alert. We have to be very conscious. We have to be really mindful. And we need to have that proper attention. And then the defilements do not arise. And if you already have some arise and defilements there, then they would also go away. Uppanna cha asava pahiyanti. So now you can see how important it is to have yoniso manasikara and ayoniso manasikara. Right. Atti bhikkhave asava dasana pahatabba. And there are some defilements that should be given up by seeing. Okay. So there are some asavas like that. And atti asava sangvara pahatabba. There are some asavas, defilements, that should be given up by restraint. And atti asava patisangvedana, patisevana. There are some asavas that should be given up by using. And atti asava adhivasana pahatabba. Some have to be given up by enduring. Atti asava parivajjana pahatabba. Some by avoiding. And atti asava vinodana pahatabba. Some by dispelling. And atti asava bhavana pahatabba. And some by developing, or some by bhavana. So these are the 7 ways that we discussed before. And these are really important practices. And also we need to remember that defilements can be there. If you think there are some defilements in you, some unwholesome practices in you, you have to figure it out how to get rid of them. And maybe sometimes when you meditate, you still find that they are not going. Maybe you have to try some other ways. Maybe like even attending Dhamma talks, or listening to Dhamma talks, or reading Dhamma books, or having some discussions with some Kalyana Mitra friends will help you. Okay. So different ways are there. Over here you can see 7 ways to get rid of these defilements. So what is dasana pahatabba? Katamecha bhikkhave asava dasana pahatabba. And what are the defilements that should be given up by seeing? Ida bhikkhave asutava putujjano aryanang adassavi aryadhammas akovido aryadhamme avinito asapurisanang adassavi asapurisa dhammasa akovido asapurisa dhamme avinito. So another word that we need to remember is asutava putujjano. Okay, asutava putujjano. That means uneducated ordinary person. I don't really know if that is the best word here, here that we can use. But Puthujjano is the one who has not achieved any of the uh, magga or phala. Okay, Puthujjana. Um, if somebody, Puthu also means separated. Puthu can be individual, and Puthu can be far and wide and separately. And Puthujjana is a common worldling or uneducated person. So Puthujjana is another important words that we need to know. So any of the person who has not achieved any of the states of sainthood or Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, Magga, Arahanta, and any of the Smagga and Phala, and that person can be Puthujjana, and that person is still so much overwhelmed with defilement. So, what are the defilements that should be given up by seeing? Ida bhikkave asutava putujjano ariyanang adasavi. What happens to this person? This person who has not seen the noble ones. Ariyanang adasavi. He does, maybe like really by eyes they can see, but they don't really see, right? And is neither skilled. So Arya Dhammas Kovido means that person is not skilled, no trained. Arya Dhammas Arya Dhamme Avinito. Um, so um, they are not trained in the teaching of the noble one. So these three things are also important for all of us to remember. Okay, one, the person is uneducated or ordinary. He is a worldly person, worldly being. Uh, and that person is not, does not see the noble ones. Arya nang adasavi. So here Arya also is actually something like Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, and Arahanta, Magga, and Phala. Those are the Atta Purisa or Arya Atta Pugala, what we call noble eight persons. And these people, these ordinary people who have not seen these noble ones can be called Asutava Putujjano. And that person also can be Arya Dhammas Akovido. And this is another one. He or she is not skilled in the Arya Dhamma, the noble teaching. And Arya Dhammas Avinito means we have not trained ourselves in the teaching of the noble ones. Now we see there are some, let's say like an educated person, maybe somebody who knows these teachings and all, maybe he knows this Dhamma very well. But if he or she has not trained himself or herself in the Dhamma, then also it can be a problem. Let's say like, I know many suttas by heart, I know, and I can tell the meaning, all these things, but I don't have the training. I am not using it. I'm not practicing it. And maybe there are some people who call themselves like they are very educated in the Dhamma, or they know very well. And what happens to you if you really um, uh, trying to get yourself build up your ego? Then it's not going to work because you are not trained properly. If you are trained properly, you have to be humble, and you have to be simple, you have to be patient, and all these things should be there. So these are really important for us to know that. Okay. Arya Avinito. And then Sappurisanang Adasavi. They have not seen good persons. And Sappurisa Dhammasa Akovido. These Sappurisa, again, good persons, noble persons. Again, they are to do with more practitioner based people. and those people who have actually achieved some very high spiritual goals like Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, Arahanta. They are the noble ones here, and those are the Kalyana Mitra or the Sappurisa persons. So they have not seen those good person or no. Again, Sappurisa Dhamma Sako Vido. They are not they are not trained or skilled in the teaching of the good persons. I request everyone to please mute your mic, speaker. Thank you. And then Manasi Karaniye Dhamme Nappajanati. Manasi Karaniye Dhamme Nappajanati. Now, Manasi Karaniya here is Manasikara is to pay attention, right? Like Yoniso Manasikara is to the proper attention. And so Manasikaraniya means should pay attention. They don't understand to which things they should pay attention. Manasikaraniye dhamme na pajanati. So they don't know that. Na pajanati or na janati means they don't know. Amanasikaraniye dhamme na pajanati. They don't know what to do and what not to do. They don't understand to which things they should pay attention to and to which things they should not pay attention to. So this is again very, very important. And therefore, this is because of the ignorance or the avijja. So, manasikaraniye dhamme appajananto amanasikaraniye dhamme appajananto ye dhamma na manasikaraniya te dhamme manasi karoti ye dhamma manasi karaniya te dhamme na manasi karoti. So they pay attention to things they shouldn't and don't pay attention to things they should do. So this is the problem. They don't know. When you don't know, like Napajanati, when you don't know what is good and bad, then you don't really know what you are doing. Like some practices that we have, like how we do certain practices, because you don't know. So you just keep practicing because maybe your parents did it or maybe some other people did it. So you just keep doing it, and you just keep practicing it, but you don't know whether it is true or not, whether it is good or bad. You don't know. So it's important that we know the difference between Manasikaraniya Dhamma and Ammanasikaraniya Dhamma. Things to be paid attention to and things to be not paid attention to. These are the Dasana Pahatabba Asava. And continue the Katamecha Bhikkhave Dhamma na manasikaraniya ye dhamme manasikaroti. And what are the things to which they pay attention but not? Yasa bhikkhave dhamme manasikaroto anupannoa kammasavo uppajjati. They are the things that when attention is paid to them, give rise to unarisen defilements and make arisen defilements grow. So just like when you pay attention to that, what happened? Unarisen defilements will come, and also arisen defilements will grow. Then there is a problem. The defilements of sensual desire, for example, desire to be reborn and ignorance. So anupanno kama asava, kama asava, the defilements of sensual desire, and they also will arise. And uppanno kama asava pavardhati, you already have certain kama asavas, and that will also grow. Anupanno bhava asava upajjati. So bhava is to be reborn. So you have that desire, and that will also be reborn. That reborn desire will also be there. And again, avijjasava, that is the ignorance. Avijja is the other one. So anupannoa avijjasavo upajjati, that you don't have it, but that will also arise in you. Upannoa avijjasavo pavaddati, the ignorance that you already have will also grow in you. So Yoniso Manasikara and Ayoniso Manasikara, as we mentioned, is a matter of how careful you should be that not to allow unarisen defilements in you, and not to allow any arisen defilements to grow. On the other hand, that is Ioniso Manasik, that is the other one. And then also, on the other hand, you have to inculcate, you have to allow you have to make sure that certain wholesome things that you don't have, so you let them come in, and then you already have some good wholesome things, so you have to let them grow. This is a part of our Yoniso Manasikara and Ayoniso Manasikara. So this is called Manasikaraniya Dhamma and Amanasikaraniya Dhamma. And then katamecha bhikkhave dhamma manasikaraniya ye dhamma na manasikaroti. Yassa bhikkhave dhamme manasikaroto anupanno a kamasavo na upajjati uppanno a kamasavo pahiyati anupanno a bhavasavo na upajjati uppanno a bhavasavo pahiyati anupanno a avijjasavo upajjati uppanno a avijjasavo pahiyati ime dhamma manasikaraniya ye dhamme na manasikaroti. Now I want you to pay attention to these three words: kamasava, bhavasava, and avijjasava. So these are very powerful asavas. Okay, there are actually 4 of them, and here in this sutta we have 3 of them highlighted. Very strong asavas, defilements. One, kama asava, and then bhava asava, and then avijja asava. These 3 things should not be allowed to conquer us, and should not be allowed to dominate us. And it doesn't happen just like that. The main tool that we can monitor them is the Yoniso Manasikara, proper attention. Ayoniso Manasikara, improper attention, will definitely allow them to grow more and more. So they are the things that we have to be careful here in this case. And so dasana pahatabba, again tasma tassa amanasikaraniyan karaniyanan dhammanang manasikara manasikaraniyanan dhammanang amanasikara anupanna cheva asava uppajjanti uppanna cha asava pavaddhanti. So when you have this amanasikaraniya dhamma, paying attention to what they should not, and not paying attention to what they should, and what happened, unarisen defilements will arise, and arisen defilements will grow. So evang ayoniso manasi karoti, and ahosingnuko ahang atita madhanang. And then now we have the problem. This is how they attend improperly. Ahosing nuko ahang atita madhanang. Ahang means I. Ahosing was I. Or atita is past. Adhanang is past time. So did I exist in the past? Ahosing nuko ahang atita madhanang. Nuko ahang ahosing atita madhanang. Did I not exist? Nanuko ahang nanuko ahosing atita madhanang. Did I not exist? King nuko ahang atita madhanang. King means what? What was I in the past? King none. Then Kathang means how. Kathang nuko ahang ahosing atita madana means how was I in the past. Then King hotwa, King ahosing nuko ahang atita madhanam. After being what and what did I become in the past. So these are many things that can arise to us, arise to those asutawa putujana, okay, uneducated, mundane, worldling. So they can have these problems when they have improper attention. And bhavisami no, so now it is the previously we talked about the past tense, and now we talk about the future tense. Even in the anagata kala or anagata madhanam, bhavisami nuko ahang anagata madhanam. Same thing goes with the future tense. Will I exist in the future? Will I not exist in the future? What will I be in the future? How will I be in the future? After being what will I be in the future? And so this is the problem. Etara hiva pachupanna madhanang ajhatang kathang kathi hoti. Ahang nu khosmi, no nu khosmi, king nu khosmi, kathang nu khosmi, ayang nu khos satto kuto agato so kuhing gami bhavisati. Or they are undecided about the present thus. Am I not? What am I? How am I? This sentient being, where did it come from, and where will it go? All these questions, all these complications, all these confusions can happen when somebody is practicing with Ayoniso Manasikara. And tassa evang ayoniso manasikaroto channang dittin nang anyatara ditting upajati. So there are 6 kinds of views. Channang dittinang. 6 type of views are there. So when they attend improperly in this way, one of the following 6 views arises in them and is taken as a genuine fact. So that person will think any of these things will be genuine. Atti me attativa asa satchato thetato ditti upajati. 1. Myself exists in an absolute sense. So that is another view. Nati me attati va asa satchato thetato ditti upajati. Myself does not exist in an absolute sense. And then attanava attanang sanjanamiti va asa satchato thetato ditti upajati. Myself, I perceive the self with the self. Attanava attanang sanjanami. And attanava attanang sanjanamiti va asa satchato thetato ditti upajati. And again, I perceive what is not self with the self. And then attanava attanang sanjanamiti va asa satchato thetato ditti upajati athava panasa evang ditthiyoti. This view, I perceive the self with what is not self. So these different kinds of views can happen to such people. Myself exists in an absolute sense. That is what we call attaditti, or soul. There is a permanent soul. And then myself does not exist in an absolute sense. It's another very like sasata ditti and ucheda ditti. And then I perceive the self with the self, and I perceive what is not self with the self, and I perceive the self with what is not self. So different kinds of views, 6 types of views are there. Idang uchati bhikkave ditti gatang, ditti gahanang, ditti kantarang, ditti visukang, ditti vippanditang, and ditti sangyojanang. So ditti, this is called misconception. Ditthigata, the thicket of views, the desert of views, the trick of views, the evasiveness of views, the fetter of views, all kinds of confusions, complications, ignorance can happen because of ayoniso manasikara. Ditti sangyojana sangyutto bhikkave asutava putujjanona parimucchati jatiya jaraya maranena sokehi paridevehi dukkhehi domanasehi upayasehi. When we have that problem, then that ordinary uneducated person who is fettered by views is not freed from rebirth, is not freed from old age, is not freed from death or sorrow or lamentation, pain, sadness, and distress. All kinds of miseries will follow with him when we have that, when he has that ayoniso manasikara. So, na parimuchyati dukkhasmati vadami. They are not from suffering, I say. Okay, I think we are almost about to stop for today, and maybe with this we can stop here, and let me go with this slide for today. Suttavachako bhikkhave arya savako aryanam dasavi arya dhammasa kovido arya dhamme suvinito sappurisanang dasavi sappurisa dhammasa kovido sappurisa dhamme suvinito manasikaraniye dhamme pajanati amanasikaraniye dhamme pajanati. So manasikaraniye dhamme pajananto amanasikaraniye dhamme pajananto ye dhamma na manasikaraneya te dhamme na manasikaroti ye dhamma manasikaranaya te dhamme manasikaroti. Now we will stop with this positive note. Now we were talking about the asutava putujjano, and here we have sutava arya savako. So sutava arya savako means educated noble one. Educated is not those modern education. Okay, these are like the noble path who has gone through those noble paths and who has attained the noble path, like Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, Arahanta. They are the people who are called noble disciples, who have seen the noble ones and is skilled and trained in the teaching of the noble ones. And they've seen good persons and are skilled and trained in the teaching of the good persons. And what happened to them? They understand to which things they should pay attention to and to which things they should not pay attention to. So they pay attention to things they should, and do not pay attention to things they shouldn't. Okay, so with that, I would like to conclude for today, and we will continue from next week. And if you have any question, maybe we can give an opportunity for one or two questions if you have, or else you can always ask questions in our YouTube channel or in our dhammausa.com blog site. Okay, let me see if we have any question. You can do we have any question? Everyone is okay? All right, so with that we conclude. Thank you everyone for joining us, and we wish you all a wonderful week ahead, and Hope to continue with this Dhamma teaching. Thank you and have a wonderful week. Sabbe Satta.